It's April 14th, Sunday, 2013, and I'm back at the Salmon-Tway Cemetery off of Route 38 and Brock Road, near the intersection of Route 38 and Interstate 71 north of Bloomingburg. Going to start with the two stones in front of us. This is Solomon Salmon on the left with the willow tree, and his wife Rosilla Salmon. To the north of those, first one we come to is Septimus Stoddard. This is broken into 7 pieces, laying flat on the ground, weathered very badly. But we chalked them to show detail so you can see what it says better, and the engraving, any emblems, quotations. A lot of still pictures from out here are on the Find a Grave site. Salmon, S-A-L-M-O-N, Tway, T-W-A-Y. T-W-A-Y. This is James Stoddard. Top is broken off and missing. We've not found any of it. The very bottom is broken off, and there is some engraving on the base that's in the ground the stone is resting on. I do have that in a still picture on the Find a Grave site. And farthest north, laying down, is Michael Yohe is his name. Nice big stone. Michael married Nancy Stoddard, Septimus's daughter. Septimus was married to Lovey Salmon, Solomon Salmon's daughter. You can see the stones and Solomon and Rosilla over there. In the far distance is my wife Stephanie Tway, Krupla, and a cousin, Andrea, from the white side of the family. There is a small footstone here, LR. And that is the footstone for Lambert Rain, whose monument is right over here. There's Lambert's. I'll zoom in a little bit and try to pan down somewhat. A little slower than the other video I did. From here, we're going to go past Solomon and Septimus to the northeast corner of the cemetery, and there's Septimus Stoddard, James Stoddard, and Michael Yohe there, and here are the little footstones for each of them. Septimus Stoddard, or Stoddard, James Stoddard, and Michael Yohe. Northeast of those, we have a monument for Sarah Burnett. And over here is a stone for Sarah. Not sure how she's related to the family, but must be somehow with the Stoddard family. There's an infant Stoddard marker. Parents were Isaac and A&E Stoddard, A-E, I and A-E. That's the base of Isaac's monument, and the debris there is what's left of some of the base for his wife Anne. Try to get a picture of Isaac's. And over there is a footstone for Isaac. I.S. Isaac passed away, and his wife Anne remarried W.L. Mitchell. When she passed away, she was buried here beside her first husband, Isaac. Zoom in so you can see it. Anne's engraving a little bit. There is a small footstone over here for Anne. From here, we're going to go back to the center of the cemetery, past Solomon and Rosella's monuments. The next one to the south is a nice tall monument. Been repaired some over the years. This is for Leah Small. Leah was first married to an Irvin, or Irwin. The spelling's inconsistent. Leah, after her husband's death in Virginia, moved to Ohio and married a man named Small from Bloomingburg. And there's a small footstone behind her. Next, we're going to come over the base of that monument, but we'll get Amanda Badger, daughter of A.J. and S.A. Badger. And the stone over here is for Evelyn or Eveline. Family pronounces it a little differently. Wife of Daniel Tway. We'll go back over a little ways over from me is small. There's a small looks like footstone NTI, and the headstone was out of the ground and placed next to a tree. Beside that, Nathaniel T. Irvin. Nathaniel had a twin brother, Cornelius or Cornelius Jr. The records here say Cornelius. It may have been copied wrong. He's the son of Cornelius and Lavina Irvin. Cornelius' stone has not been found. Another stone that was out of the ground and has been placed against the tree is Sophia Moore. Around the other side of the tree from Nathaniel T. Irvin is a marker. It's worn, I think it's NT for Nathaniel Tway. Leaning against the tree is Sophia, son of Nathaniel and Sarah Burton Tway. Daughter, Sophia, daughter. It's broken off at the base and leaning against the tree, but the base is right there beside it. Next to her is Elmira Tway, daughter of Nathaniel and Sarah Burton Tway. It's leaning at an angle, so one of these days it'll be laying flat on the ground. Next to her is her mother, Sophia Burton Tway. Have to step around the tree. There's Sophia's stone. There is an engraving across the top. I don't remember what it is, but it is on the Find a Grave site.
Was this the daughter of Nathaniel, Sophia, or was this
Back there is a footstone for Sophia. The initials are on the other side. I'll get those when I move on.
Yeah, she kept
Next to her is
Sarah came and visited. She was about
the monument for the first Nathaniel Tway.
that was the Irvins.
I think Nathaniel says shining a light in heaven. But
There was Aunt Lethe and this cousin Lethe.
it's fairly well worn.
And taking care of the house for grandfather. And she married a Durflater, and I'm not sure.
About 74 years old. This is Nathaniel Tway Sr. In front of that is a small rounded stone with the letters CI. We think footstone for Cornelius Irvin. Cornelius married Sophia and Nathaniel's daughter Lavina. And here is the stone, their monument. It's really interesting with the carving on it. Our Father and Mother. And you can see like a drape over the altar and tassels at the corners, all four corners. And then some work at the bottom. On one side is Cornelius. That's the base. And on the other side is Lovina. And something I haven't seen on any other stone here at the cemetery. The top has got some work up to it, and then in this very center there's a metal pin sticking up a little bit. So there was a finial or top piece of some sort long ago eroded and lost. On the ground beside there are some broken pieces that we found that we think, because of that number 13, you can see better in some still pictures, that 13, the only 13 on in the cemetery records unaccounted for is Jacob Gooley. So we think that could be Jacob Gooley. Go over here and get the footstones for Nathaniel. You can see Nathaniel's stone and his footstone. And beside him, that's the back of Sophia Burton Tway's monument and her footstone. To the north, up there, that house lies just on the other side of Brock Road. I-71 is just north of that a little ways. If you pan around over to here, off in the distance you can see a water tower that was started and never completely finished off at the intersection of Interstate 71 and Route 38. And over to the east of the Tways is a monument leaning against the tree. This is not where the burial is, I don't believe. This is John W. Webb. There's a picture taken about 32 years or so ago out here that is a lot plainer to read. That is on the Find a Grave site. I say I don't believe the burial is here because when we first came out here earlier this month, further north from here, we found this footstone, which we had not found before for John W. Webb. And it was located up in this jumble up in there, which is somewhat closer to Isaac and Ann Studdard and Sophia Burnett. So I'm thinking they're tied in to the family that way somehow. On the back side of the tree, again, this one was just laid up against the tree and dug out from all of the branches that had fallen, is Eliza, I think it's A. Webb. daughter of John W. Webb. Father and daughter died within a couple months of each other. Getting near the end of our tour. The voices you might hear in the background are my wife Stephanie and Andrea discussing things. They're on the opposite side from the Stoddard family. There is another monument. This is Alvin M. Stoddard. S-T-U-T-H-A-R-D, but the way they spelled them back then, I think it's probably the same family. Little Alvin only lived 17 days. Got a little lamb engraved at the top. Son of M.L. and M.V. Stoddard. There's an engraving at the bottom.
Whichever one married the Seltzer.
And behind him there is a footstone. And then
Into the Seltzer family.
to the southwest corner of the cemetery, we're heading for our last group of stones. And off between the trees you can just make out the name Ladd, L-A-D-D. That's where we're heading. We'll come to two small stones first. This is G.D.L., George D. Ladd, and his information is on the big monument. So I'm assuming this is a footstone. Looks like they used bricks to outline graves. A little bit over here. And then over further, there are some more bricks outlining a grave. On this side of George Ladd is I.J.L. Isaac Ladd. Not sure of the relationship. Don't have any family history on these. Here is the, let me get back around here. Trees have grown up and split. Hard to get a good picture. But there's the Ladd monument. And we're going to walk back around here now. And we'll look at George Ladd's monument. It's laying on its side where it fell over off of the base. It's got some pretty carving work to it. Born 1822, died 1884. I think it says the sheep of Jesus there, and you can see some of the carving in the stone at the bottom. And last but not least, there's some more of the brickwork laying around. This stone was just found leaning against the tree, and the two base stones we found broken in a couple places here in this corner of the cemetery, and discovered that they fit together somewhat, and the opening in the middle makes a nice base to help hold up this stone for William T. Liler, L-I-L-E-R. Has a nice little lamb engraved on top. And that is our trip to the Salmon-Tway Cemetery. We are located about 3/4 of a mile off of Brock Road, south of Brock Road. Car is parked way up there by a drainage ditch. And to the east is Route 38. We're about 3/4 of a mile from it, west of Route 38 as well. There's a big tree that has been blown down, been dead for a while. A lot of branches broken. It's a lot more open, more dead trees. The lilies have overgrown the center of the cemetery. They'll be knee-high here in a couple weeks. When we were out here earlier this week, last week, they were barely above ground, but they're really taken off. But a lot of dead tree branches, big dead tree stumps. Cemetery has not been maintained well because it's so far off of the main roads, Brock Road and Route 38. The highest group of trees along the fence row looking from Brock Road. Semi there going is Route 38, not Route 38, Interstate 71. I'll get my routes right eventually. That's the end of our tour. Hope you enjoyed visiting the Salmon-Tway Cemetery with me. That's it for now. This is David Krupla. So long.